Good morning, traders, and welcome to this week's weekly market analysis, Monday, the 12th of October. All right, let's just jump straight in this morning and let's kick it off with our Aussie dollar. Let's take a look what's happening on this particular front. Now, what I'm noticing with the Aussie dollar is I've just drawn in these two lines over here, and look, it hasn't started to happen yet, but what I'm noticing is that we could be starting to trade in this range a little bit. At the present moment where we are right now over here, it's kind of look, I may perhaps be interested in a selling trade. I just got to monitor it closely. If I get higher than this level over here, well then definitely that range could start to play, and if the range does start to play, then I really need to wait to exit out of that region before I can look at any types of trades. At the moment I'm on the borderline. Let me just add in a couple more extra lines. Let's just have a look how close we are. Oh, actually this is pretty good. Let me just zoom in. Alright, so what I've done is I've just added in a resistance line here. And let me just jump over to a 4-hour chart. I just want to have a look at something. Okay. On the 4-hour chart, I would have to make an adjustment around about there. Okay. All right. This is my thoughts. On a 4-hour chart, I can see that the market has come up to that level there once, it's come up to that level there twice, and we are there right now, and the question is, will it kick off downward again? So basically I'm talking about those 3 points right there. Now, I am on a 4-hour chart. I would need to see if I can get price action reversal occurring here. Now, it's looking like this morning's candle may spoil that pattern already, and it's not going to occur just simply by what I can see over here already. So let's jump back to a daily chart and zoom in. On the daily chart, we do have a chance to get that price action reversal occurring here. So let's wait and see. There's two candles there. That's a little doji at the moment. That's only just started. Let's see if I can get the price action reversal that I'm looking for out of those two candles here. I'll just circle them again. If I do get that price action reversal, then I will be a seller. Okay. Now, if I do sell, we can ignore this line. We can just remove it so you don't get thrown off. I only had it there as I feel that the market may range in that zone, but that's not proven yet. So what I'm particularly looking for is if this market continues to go up and gets higher than this last cluster there, then I do believe that we will probably start to trade inside that range. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I've just gone about it all over the place. Monday morning, brain is not fully in motion as yet, but that one there is very, very clear. We could have a trade set up on the Aussie US dollar tomorrow morning. All right, let's move along. Let's have a look at the Euro USD. Now, the Euro USD was already trading in this range. We broke down, and I was kind of looking in this region there for it to show some kind of price action reversal and continuation down the downwards, should I say. And in that whole sequence of candles over here, there was no evidence of reversal occurring, and consequently it's shot forward. So what we could do with this one as well, let me zoom in a little bit. Let me just draw in a couple of top lines. How's that sit? Well, not as nice as the Aussie dollar. Okay. All right, look, with this one, let's just monitor what we don't. I don't want it. I'll just draw in a permanent line here just so that I can come back. I just want to see if it gets higher than that line that I've just drawn in. All right. If it does get higher than that line, then the next level will be up the top over here somewhere where I could look to short it. All right. If it starts to right now, where it is, exactly where it is right now, if it produces a price action reversal, it would be a little bit aggressive, but we could trade it down as a new trend emerging in the downward direction. Let's just play it by ear. If I do see it, it's not ready right now. If it is ready, it could be ready tomorrow, but I may have a nicer trade to trade tomorrow. So let's just monitor it and see what's occurring with this particular one. Okay, at the moment, again, if I can get price action right now where we are a little bit on the aggressive side, we could possibly trade it down, as we can see a trend emerging, pulling up, going down, etc, etc. All right, that's pretty much it that I have for the Euro USD. So let's just move along. Let's have a look at the US yen. Okay, the US yen I've drawn in. You can already see what I've drawn in. I've marked out this top line. There seems to be levels there, and we are there at the moment. This pattern here, 3-candle pattern right there, it's not your classic reversal. If this wick here had been a little bit longer, looked like that, for example, let me just get some things out of the way so I don't confuse you. So if that wick on this candle there was a little bit longer, just as I've drawn it there, that would have been a reversal pattern, and it would have been a 3-candle reversal pattern, like a shooting star type thing, and we could have sold right there. Now it hasn't happened. It's tricky. Look, I'm just going to leave it alone. So what I'm actually more interested in with the US yen is if the market comes down to here and gives me a reversal pattern there, then I'm much more interested in trading it there. That level here is quite clear with 1, 2, and this possibly a third touch and bouncing. Okay, now of course I would need to see confirmation occur. I would have been happy to trade this one here right now in the downward direction. However, this 3-candle pattern right here is not exactly the cleanest reversal pattern. It's close, but it's not, so that's the reason that I'm not trading it. So I will wait for it to come down to 3. Now some of you might think to yourselves, well, why, if you're going to wait for it to come down, why don't you just trade it on the way down? Well, the reason is because I don't know if it's going to come down. But if it should come down and then produce a reversal pattern, then I'm happy to trade it up. Okay. But what happens if it just now continues to go up? Well, then that's okay. It never gets to this point, so I just don't trade it and I don't worry about it. Okay, and I prevent myself from entering a trade which hasn't given me the confirmation in the way of the downward direction. All right, hopefully that explains to you, because sometimes I do get asked that question and it looks obvious. Why don't you just trade it on the way down? You think it's going to go down there. Most of the times it does go down there. Why don't you trade it down? Because I don't have the confirmation. Okay, there you have it. That's the US yen analysis for this week. Let's have a look at the GBP USD. Look, this chart at first sight screams to me that I'm looking for reversal there, and I want to trade in the downward direction as the emergence of a new trend going down. The only thing that does concern me is that it did pull down and make a sharp up, leaving this high, came down, leaving a new low, and now this high has actually gone higher than the previous one. Okay, so at first glance it looked like I want to just continue to try and trade it in the downward direction, but this chart is actually expanding the trading range. So the highs are getting higher and the lows are getting lower, so that instead of compressing like this, sorry, let me just draw that again. Instead of let me just get rid of that. So instead of the market compressing like this, getting tighter and tighter and tighter, this particular one is doing the exact opposite. It's getting wider at the moment. So it started here, getting there, it's going wider, so it's doing the opposite. When the market does that, I kind of stay away from it, because it's very difficult to try and find high probability setups to try and predict what may happen next. Okay, so that is what's happening with this particular one. So right now I need this to settle down and get into some kind of rhythm. The rhythm that I think it may get into is it may just settle in here and start to trade in that range. Let's see how that plays out. All right, I'll just draw in 2 lines just so that I remind myself of what I was thinking. Let's put that one there, and I'll just add this one here. And let's see how this one plays out. Okay, there you have it. That's my GBP USD for this week. Moving along, the US CAD. Okay, to show you this trade, I've got to switch into a weekly chart first. When I go to my weekly chart, you can clearly see what my thought process was. This support line down the bottom, market's been there 3 times, and we are approaching it again. All right, so keep that in mind. Let me go to my daily chart now, and let me just zoom up a little bit. So basically, this level here where I'm marking out, let's wait for the market to come down towards us if it does in fact get to us. If it does, then let's look for the confirmation that it will reverse. Once I get that confirmation, then I'm happy to become a buyer on the US CAD. That's my only game plan for this one. Let's move along. Euro Yen. Okay, Euro Yen looks very similar to that GBP USD, with the only difference that it's a little bit cleaner. It's basically a high, a low, and a high. Okay, so if we could get some kind of reversal occurring over here, we could take a first aggressive trade down in what we think could be the development of a new downtrend. Okay, so it's a little bit aggressive because it's still only the first kick down. Normally, if you wanted to play it more into a developed trend, what you would need is there's your high, there's your low, there's your high. We would need another low down here, so let it come down to here somewhere, and then when it kicks up over here, this would be a trade once you're into a developed trend. Okay, so let's call this the first wave of the trend. This is the second wave. The second wave is a little bit higher probability because the trend is definitely established. At the moment, we don't know if we're going to get to a second wave. So we would be attempting to trade on this first wave over here, which would be a little bit more aggressive because it could very well just continue to go up in that direction. Okay, but let's look for it. Let's see how it plays out. If you get a really nice solid setup, it may be worth the risk. Okay, so that's the Euro Yen for this week. Kiwi USD. This one's clear. We are definitely trading in this range. I've marked that out from before. My lines will remain on my chart. We are right in the middle of that range right now, so there's nothing I can do. What I will look for is when the market gets to the top, look to trade down, or if the market gets to the bottom, look to trade up. That's the type of trade that I'm looking for in this particular one. All right, very simple. This is my Kiwi USD. ASX 200. Wow, I've had this range drawn in for a long time, okay, and it continues to stay within those parameters. We're still to break this low and this high. We are approaching it one more time. Let me just extend that line. It's been so long that I didn't draw it long enough. Let me extend it out a bit more, and let me extend the bottom one out. Okay, so we could have a trade coming up very shortly. If we get to that level and we get the reversal that we're looking for, then that trade is definitely on the cards. If we break out of that range, well then at that point we can delete these lines and we can start looking for the next phase of the market. Okay, definitely between there and until today, at least this whole time, that market has been solidly ranging within this parameter, and that's very clear to see. Okay, sometimes when you don't have these lines on your chart, it is not as obvious, so that's one of the benefits of coming or listening to this class, because it allows you to see somebody else's views, how they're drawing their lines, and assist you in drawing your own lines. Okay, so the other type of trade that could happen, if there are breakout traders there, if it's a big breaking candle like that, that is a signal to basically jump on board on the very next break. Some people like to get that big breaking candle and wait for the market to come back down, test that previous resistance as support, and then trade off that level. Okay, I'm not doing much breakout trading, so I'm just pointing out one possibility for the breakout traders who do watch the class. The other option is if we can break it in the negative direction, the same applies. Okay, so of course the color of the candle will be different, so it would be a red candle. Excuse that I've only got a blue pen at the moment, and the trade would be as such, or you could wait for the retest over here and then take the trade in this direction. Okay, so that would be the breakout type trade. The one that I'm looking for is not the breakout. I'm just looking for the reversal back into the channel. All right, there you have it. That is the ASX 200. And finally, to wrap up the week, let's look at gold. Oh, gold, let's have a look. Now remember, gold, if I draw this back out, had been trading in like a compressed triangle, like, let me get the right there, and then it broke down, and now it's pushing back towards that region. Particularly what I'm noticing is, let me just get rid of these lines, they're bothering me. Particularly what I'm noticing is that the current level, it's kind of like right through that center region, and it appears, look, just purely from looking at so many charts over the years, that we could be meandering around that center line. In other words, we're doing a bit of this, we might do a bit of this. So I really want to move away from that 1950 zone, so just really get away from it before I start to look for my next trades. At the moment, I don't really see anything. I was going to start looking for shorts, but we've just gone beyond that high. So in other words, remember, there's my high, my low, it's my high. We compressed, and then we've broken it up again, so it's not really in the formation of trend. So the trade that I was going to look for was for that, but definitely not on the cards. Let's wait and see how this one develops. No action for the time being on the gold for this particular week. Alright, so that wraps up the analysis for us. Let's have a look at important data to be released this week. It's actually fairly light this particular week. The notable ones that I've pinned out for us are a local Aussie dollar. We have our employment change and unemployment rate numbers due out on Thursday, that's 11:30. And then also on Friday at 11:30 we have retail sales from the US due out. That's pretty much all this week. It's quite light. That wraps up the analysis. Guys, as always, please feel free to contact us if you do have any questions. You can follow me on Twitter at ChatFX for trade setups and breaking news. Most importantly, hope you all have a fantastic trading day. I will speak to you tomorrow for the daily call. Bye for now.